Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Noah, and in this video I want to share with you my thoughts on why I believe we are all idiots and why we should be happy about it. So what do I mean? What do I mean when I say that we're all stupid? And it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing to be stupid. And my rationale for this potentially, offensive comment, I hope you don't take offense to it because it's all, lighthearted, but is that I think, generally speaking, there is no way that any human or machine or the combination of the two are going to know everything, right? They're going to know the inner working.
A few moments later.
There's no way that they would know the inner workings of the world, right? And all of these, if we're looking just at Earth, right, all of the different cultures and how people are feeling, and what's happening in science and what's happening in education and what's happening in finance, right? There is no way that people are going to have even a solid understanding of all of it. I think there's so much going on that is just not something that can happen. And I think where people really get held back is when they believe that they have a knowledge when they actually don't. And I think a lot of people, a lot of us, maybe you can kind of think of examples of this in your day-to-day life as well, where there is someone who is not educated on something who is talking about it like they know everything about it, right? And their word is canon. Their word is not, their opinions are not flawed, despite any kind of objective evidence that might be put in front of them. And I think this is because, humans generally have this complex, right? Of that, because we are the species that can, build stuff and can tear apart, rainforests, and we can, kill all these animals for food. There's this complex that we have that we are the ultimate beings, right? That we control everything and so on. So it only makes sense that people would, or some people, not all, would kind of interpret that they know best, right? We see it a lot in politics, we see it a lot in education and so on. And I think this is a great flaw that humans have, of feeling like we know more than we actually do. And I will say from personal experience that one of the best things that I have been able to do, just in my life, is to acknowledge that I am a idiot. Right? I'm an idiot, right? And I think it translates to all of us, right? There is no way, like I said, that we're going to know that much about the world even after 100 years on this earth, right? We might have pretty good lessons learned and so on, but there is no way that we can keep up to date on even a small amount of what's actually going on across the entire world. And that's okay, right? That is part of life. And I think it's a little bit unnecessary when people have very little education on something and talk about it and have opinions on it like they know everything about it. And that's something that has bothered me in the past, and it's something that, maybe I even thought of myself that way at some point in time. But acknowledging now that I am just a guy in front of a camera, right? Kind of going through life, but ultimately I don't know much, right? There are certain things that I do have a decent amount of experience on and that have worked for me that I'm ultimately trying to convey to you, the viewers, to maybe get your insight on, and maybe my experiences will help you as well. But ultimately, I'm an idiot, right? And I have been able to, say that in a way where it almost gives me strength, right? It doesn't do any harm to me to say that, because when you acknowledge that you're not that good at something, right? When you acknowledge that you don't know a lot about something, when you acknowledge that you are not the most experienced in something, it gives you something to work towards, right? It gives me something to look forward to at the start of each day, to learn something new, to acknowledge that I'm not the best at everything, or not the best at anything, perhaps. And this humility, I truly believe, is something that more people need to acknowledge, is that we really aren't shit in the grand scheme of things. But that should be a good thing, right? It incentivizes us to learn more, to read more, to experience more, and to be more patient with all of these difficult topics throughout our life. So did I make this video basically sitting here, calling us all, idiots, calling you stupid, in front of the camera? No. This is a video to just kind of share, my own perspective on why it's so important to acknowledge that, no matter what your education, right? No matter how many degrees you have, no matter how many years of experience you might have, in the grand scheme of things, we probably know very little. And that is a strength, right? Like I said, for me personally, being able to, look in the mirror and say, hey idiot, try to learn something else today, has really given me strength to do more, has really motivated to do more in my life, and really it's also helped with not having this complex of thinking that I know things that I don't. And like I said, I think a lot of us can hopefully resonate with that in other aspects of our own life, where we see that in potentially family members or friends, or people from our college or high school, or there are people like that, where they talk about a certain topic like they were involved, right? They talk about war like they were on the battlefield, right? They were on the battlefield, and they were, in the White House commanding the people, right? They talk about, politics, for example, like they're omnipresent, and they can see everything all at once, and their word is canon. And this mindset, or these habits, for me personally, I think hold us back from being kind of the best version of ourselves. And I think the first step in reaching sort of a self-actualization, if you will, is acknowledging that we don't know much. And like I said, this can act as a huge motivator to just keep learning more in life, keep experiencing more, and ideally getting to a point in life where we are very content with the information that we do know. So there you have it. Those are a few of my thoughts as to why I believe we are all stupid. Again, I do hope that you didn't take any offense to it. It was obviously all lighthearted, but I think there is a certain amount of truth to some of my thoughts here. But as always, I want to hear from the viewers as well. What do you guys think are some ways that we can kind of experience a little bit of humility and ideally develop within our own lives? Please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts. As always, if you've stuck along this far in the video, I want to thank you so much for your time today. And of course, happy financing.